Well, here we are. We're going live now. So let's just start this off right at the bat. Okay. Um, we're going to talk about fatherless culture. It's not an accident. It's more strategy. Um, yeah. So let's get into this real quick. So my name is Jesse Anderson. I'm a fatherhood apologetics. I'm a father. I worked with fathers for years in real homes, real pressure, and feeling the real consequences of fathers not being there. I've led ministries, I've worked inside court related family systems. I've watched what happens when men disappear, and I've also seen what happens when men step up and they reappear for their families. So before we start, let me just get this right. Let me just get out this out there right off the bat. I'm not giving any type of medical advice. If you need medical or mental health support, talk to a licensed professional. This is not therapy. This is not emotional hand holding. This is leadership training, accountability, and we're going to be setting some standards. Okay. So let me say this: fatherless isn't just a tragedy. If you think about it, it's become a strategy. Okay. Because when fathers disappear, everything gets easier to control. And if you don't see that, you're really not paying attention. See, we're not doing excuses today. We're not doing victim talk today. We're not doing, I'm really trying or nobody understands me. This is for leadership, and leadership is not a mood. It's a standard that we have to set for ourselves. So if you're a father, you're not an option. You're not an extra. You're not a side character. You're either leading or your house is being led by someone or something, and it's not you. So here's a conflict inside most men: comfort versus responsibility. Comfort says, I worked hard, I deserve peace. Responsibility says, my kids deserve my presence. Now, ego versus leadership. Ego says, they should respect me. Leadership says, I'll become respectable again. Avoidance versus obedience. Avoidance says, I'll deal with it later. Obedience says, I'm going to handle it right now. Here's the consequence: when a man refuses leadership, his home doesn't stay neutral. It gets filled with screens, computers, phones, laptops, filled with chaos, filled with confusion, filled with attitudes that don't get corrected, and it's filled with pain that never gets addressed. And then one day you wake up and your child feels like a stranger. And then you act shocked. And to be honest, you shouldn't be shocked. You didn't lose your home in that one moment. You lost your home in small withdrawals that you've done throughout the years. You ignored conversations, you delayed corrections at a time, you one night choosing comfort over connection. I'm too tired. I can't listen to you. I don't want to spend time with you. That's how it all happens. So let me paint this picture for you. A father sits on the couch every night, not because he hates his family, because he's tired, because he's stressed, because he thinks he earned escape. He scrolls, he watches clips, he laughs at memes, and he tells himself, at least I'm not cheating on my wife. At least I'm not out with the boys drinking. At least I'm not at the bar. At least I'm home. But his son walks past him like he's furniture. His daughter stops talking to him and just ignores him because he doesn't listen anyways. His wife stops asking him how his day was because she's tired of being disappointed. And a man thinks the problem is their attitude. It's you. The problem is passivity. You don't lose your house in one explosion. You lose it in small withdrawals. That's how it happens. So now let's kind of bring this into scripture. Okay. Ephesians 6:4 says, "And you, fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord." This verse is not suggestions, it's a description. The context of it saying, Paul is speaking to real homes under real pressure with real consequences. Now, the meaning, the verse does not say, "Fathers, be nice." It says, "Be responsible." Two commands. Number one, do not provoke them to anger, meaning don't crush them with hypocrisy. Don't crush them with inconsistency. Don't crush them with lazy authority. A man who screams standards but lives none provokes anger. And I've seen that time and time again. Do as I say, not as I do. See, instruction is teaching, truth, wisdom, values, direction. So, what's the biblical model? A father is not a mascot. A father is a builder, a trainer, a leader. Now, here's the modern lie: men twist, "don't provoke" into softness. They translate it as never confront, never correct, never lead strongly. Now, that's wrong. The verse doesn't remove authority, it purifies authority. It doesn't tell you to be weak, it tells you to be just. So let me make this plain. If your home has no discipline, you're not gentle. You're actually absent. If your kids have no instructions, you're not giving them freedom. You're leaving them really untrained. And if you're not training your kids, somebody else will. The culture will. The internet will. Their peers will. And then you're going to be surprised when they start acting like they're strangers in your own home. We need to be the models, not the culture. We do. So let's put facts on the table. Family structure has shifted hard. More kids are being raised without a consistent father. And when fatherhood collapses, you don't just lose a male presence, you lose discipline, you lose protection, you lose identity, accountability. See, this isn't politics, it's consequences. When fathers disappear, kids don't become freer, they become more vulnerable. Now, we separate talkers from leaders. I'm giving you three anchors, not ideas, not inspiration. Anchor one, number one. Starting tonight, lead like this. No scrolling, no phone calls, no hiding. You are present for 60 minutes. Conversation, homework check, planning, prayer. Talk to your kids. Leave that phone aside and just focus on your children. And if something goes off, attitude, disrespect, lying, laziness, you address it within 24 hours. Not screaming, not threats, clear correction, clear standards, clear consequences. Weak fathers delay. Leaders, they correct right away. So every Sunday, here's an anchor number three. Every Sunday, you set the standard for the week. Family schedule, expectations, responsibilities, one goal for each child, one boundary for the home. You lead the week before it leads you. These are measurable, immediate, uncomfortable, and they work. And if this seems like something that you can't do, then you really have to ask yourself, how much of a leader are you in your own home? And then you have to change that. Now, I'm not saying you can have to do all that. Just pick one thing and work on that. Here's the promise. If you do this, your house is going to change. If you do this, your kids feel safety again. If you do this, respect comes back slowly, for sure, because first you got to earn that trust back. You may not have had it for a while. You got to start to earn it back. Then suddenly you stay a spectator in your own family, and spectators don't get complaints about the outcome. They were never in the game. So now you have to be in the game. You have to lead. So here's a real example. Divorced dad, 2 kids, minimal contact. He's bitter, passive, convinced the system ruined him. His pattern? He calls when he feels like it. He shows up inconsistent. He tries to buy love with gifts instead of building trust with structure. The cost? Kids stop answering. The ex controls a narrative. He becomes a background character. Now the correction? He stops begging for access and starts building real leadership. He creates a schedule, he documents communication, becomes predictable. He leads from where he stands. Results? In 60-day, kids start responding again. Not because the world got nicer, because the father got stronger. The leadership, it changed the atmosphere. Now, as a quarter point and monitor, I get to see this all the time. I get to see how fathers really struggle trying to connect with their children. And it's not their children's fault because their children are really trying to connect with their parents, especially their fathers. The father has become more like the friend. And as much as the kids try to reach out and get close to their dads, the father just sets that wall and that barrier that basically says, I'm just here to have fun with you. I'm not here to lead you. There's so much going on in my life. Let me just give you this entertainment. That's all I can give you right now. But the kids, they want more. And what they want is that relationship. Now let's do a clip moment. You've heard it. Kids don't need fathers, they just need love. Mothers can do both roles. My response, that sounds compassionate, but it's dishonest. Yes, mothers can be heroic, but the claim that fathers are unnecessary, that's sabotage right there. Because love without structure becomes chaos. Love without discipline becomes entitlement. Love without accountability becomes weakness. Biblically, fatherhood is not a decoration, it's a covering and correction. Logically, if fathers don't matter, why does culture work so hard to replace them? Why mock them? Why reduce them to jokes? Because a present father is hard to control. A disciplined father produces disciplined children, and a disciplined people don't stay controlled. Now, the excuses. I'm going to say excuse number one. I hear this a lot. My ex won't let me. Okay, so if they're a divorce situation, they just say, my ex won't let me. They won't let me be a father. Then lead legally, lead consistently, lead intelligently, document, communicate, stay calm, stay firm. You don't quit because it's hard. You become strategic because the relationship matters. Your children matter. So it's no longer about the ex. It's about you and your child. How are you going to build that relationship? Yes, it might be difficult, but raising a family is difficult. Going through a divorce or being separated, you just added to that, but they're still your children and you still have to raise them. Excuse number two, my kids don't respect me. Respect is rebuilt through consistency, not speeches, not guilt trips, standards, presence, follow through. I see so many men that want to have this respect from their children, but then all they do is talk at their children, not talk with their children. They never lead them. They yell at them. They belittle them. They ridicule them. That's not leadership at all. Sit down with your child and ask them, hey, what's going on with you? Where are you at? Who are your friends? What do you think about your friends? What do you think about where you're at right now in life? Have those conversations. You'll be surprised what you'll learn from your children and how much they want to share with you. Maybe at first they don't. I get that. It happens a lot, because they just don't have that confidence with you that you're not going to ridicule them. That what they think and what they're saying might seem dumb to you, but you let them know that it's not. That no matter what they say, you're here to guide them because you have the experience as an adult. You're supposed to lead and guide your children. Now here's that excuse number four, and this is the one that kind of gets me sometimes, to be honest. It says, "I'm doing my best." This sentence is it's really a shield. Your children don't live in your intentions; they live in your patterns. If your best produces a broken atmosphere, your best needs to be upgraded. You need to spend the time with your children. They don't just deserve your best; they deserve all of you. They they deserve your presence and they deserve your leadership. That's what they're looking for. That's what they need. And trust me, if you don't get it from them now, they don't get it from you now, they will get it from somewhere. And then you have to deal with that influence. So here's a turning point. A man stops negotiating with weakness. He decides, this ends with me. Decision. I will lead, even when I don't feel like it. New standards. My presence is not optional. Boundaries, no more hiding at work at all. No more excuses. If you have to work, of course, work, but you can't use that as an excuse for not spending time with your family or not spending time with your children. No more escaping into screens. Put the phone down. I know those are important calls. I know you want to scroll, but that relationship with your child is way more important. No more letting disrespect grow. Deal with it. You deal with it. Leadership action. Speak clearly, correct quickly, stay consistent, become a man your children can lean on. That's fatherhood. And fatherhood is not perfection, it's leadership. So, a father who doesn't lead at home will eventually be replaced by something that will. And it's never, you don't ever think that it could be another person. It can't be their social media, it can't be their friends, it can't be anything else but you. You need to be the strong influence in their lives, not anybody else. So here's your 7-day challenge, a 3-day action plan, 10 minutes of a direct conversation with each child, no phone, one standard reinforced daily, calm, clear, and firm, one leadership action daily, plan, schedule, structure, and check in, one hard conversation this week. And that something that you need to have a conversation with it. Even it has to be something to saying, hey, I know I haven't been here for you or with you, or I didn't seem like I've been taking interest, but that's all going to change now. You'll be surprised how much that changes the dynamics. Um, Start changing your tone. The tone is a big part. You can say things carefully and with respect and with love without seeming like you're criticizing and ridiculing. That's really, really important. Kids really hear that and they shy away if they hear the tone in your voice. Yeah, that changes everything for you. So look at that. See how they're responding to you. If you're meaning to be loving and caring, but you come off as authoritative with your belittling, pretty much have to check yourself on that. Okay, so that was a lot to cover all at once. So here's the truth: if your fatherhood can't handle confrontation, it won't survive real life because real life doesn't care about intention, it cares about actions. See, this channel is going to bring pressure back to the conversation. We're going to go live with debates. I want to bring on some other leaders in the community and we can start to debate about fatherhood. So I want to see where you guys are at, where you think that if you actually feel like, oh no, I've been wronged. Oh no, it's not my fault. That victim mentality that you can have, it really affects your children. And they start taking on that mentality also. And before you know it, they're raised in that environment and they're going to be out in society with that belief system. So if you're here, we don't want to be able to start lying with our children. We want to make sure we tell them the truth every step of the way. So if you're here for comfort, this isn't going to be your channel, honestly. But if you're here to lead, subscribe, turn on the notifications, download the free PDF file that I have, link in the description. I'm really working on putting together a weekly accountability program for fathers who are done being just spectators in their own home. And if you want to be the first one when this goes to be notified with it, DM me ready, and we'll get that going for you. This is going to be a weekly thing, so I welcome any type of questions you might have that maybe I could answer them to you on the side or even here on the channel. This would be really, really great. So we'll be meeting here next week. Okay, so this is Jesse, Purpose Driven Fatherhood. We only live by standards only, and I'll see you next week.